She is also the head of women's football in the federation. She is also, because they appointed her as a member of the FIFA Media and Communications Committee. Ladies and gentlemen. Inside his prayer, he has started the introduction. He mentioned representative. Whatever a man can do, a woman can do better. Because she was, or she will say she still is anyway, a journalist like us.
Greetings. I have the honor to read the President's address to you this morning, and I'm sure a copy has been given to you in your files. So as I read, you can just follow me. So we are observing all protocols here. The Honorable Commissioner of Sports in Rivers, Barrister Chris Green, who I'm sure is on his way by now. Our host, Effie, the COO of the Nigeria Women Football League, of course, all the stakeholders and delegates here, the club managers, the club secretaries, the technical and administrative officials, players, representatives, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It says here good morning, but it is good afternoon. It is my honor and privilege, I'm reading his address now, as President of the Nigeria Football Federation, to warmly welcome you all to the 2025 Annual General Meeting of the Nigeria Women Football League, an important gathering that brings together the heartbeats of women's football in our great nation. This assembly is not merely a formality on the football calendar. It is a defining moment of reflection, dialogue, and shared commitment to strengthen the future of the women's game in Nigeria. I extend sincere appreciation to the Nigeria Women Football League for its dedication, and to all club administrators, players, coaches, match officials, the partners who continue to make sacrifices to sustain and advance our women's football ecosystem. I also wish to especially thank the government and good people of Rivers State for their gracious hospitality and unflinching support toward the development of sports, particularly women's football, across the nation. Distinguished stakeholders, this General Assembly holds great significance because it comes at a time when the global football landscape is changing rapidly across continents. Women's football has evolved from an afterthought to a major growth engine of the global sports industry. Nations that once overlooked their women's leagues are now investing heavily, building modern infrastructures, ensuring professional standards, and tapping into the immense commercial and social potential of the women's game. It is therefore imperative that Nigeria, a country that has long been the pride of women's football in Africa, rises to meet these new realities with innovation, structure, and purpose. For decades, Nigerian women have stood tall on the world stage. Our Super Falcons remain the most successful women's national team on the African continent, 10-time champions of Africa, and the only African nation to have featured in every edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup since its inception. Falconets and Flamingos continue to demonstrate talent, courage, and consistency at youth level. These accomplishments are a source of national pride, but they also remind us of our obligations to preserve, strengthen, and expand the domestic foundation that nurtures such excellence, the Nigeria Women Football League. The league remains the backbone of our women's football pyramid. It is the platform from which dreams are born, careers are shaped, and champions are discovered. But we must be honest with ourselves. The league today faces challenges that require decisive and collective solutions. One major concern is the inconsistency of the league calendar. Without a predictable and stable schedule, our league loses its rhythm, its commercial appeal, and its competitive balance. A professional league must operate within a structured framework that allows clubs to plan, sponsors to invest confidently, and fans to engage continuously. Consistency is not a luxury. It is the lifeblood of professionalism. Another critical issue is infrastructure. Too many of our league venues still lack the basic amenities required for high-quality competition, from poor playing surfaces and inadequate lighting to insufficient seating and drainage. We must elevate our standards and move from merely staging football matches to truly hosting football events that attract fans, engage communities, and inspire young girls to believe in the game. Equally, we must confront the issue of player welfare. The instability caused by unpaid wages or lack of it, lack of standard contracts, and the absence of medical or career-ending insurance cannot be ignored. These are not just administrative shortcomings. they are moral failings that diminish the dignity and the integrity of the game. A truly professional league must guarantee every player a secure working environment, fair compensation, and a pathway for life after football. The Nigeria Football Federation, under my leadership as the president of the federation, is fully committed to working with the NWFL and all relevant stakeholders to address these concerns comprehensively. We will strengthen the governance and compliance frameworks to ensure that club licensing, national minimum wage structure are enforced uniformly and transparently. We are also working to institutionalize a national wage structure for all registered players in the league to be strictly monitored by the NFF compliance unit. In addition, a standard insurance policy will be made compulsory for every player, ensuring that no one's career ends in despair due to injury or lack of medical support. Beyond immediate reforms, we must begin to think progressively about how to sustain the women's game in the long term. This requires a complete shift in mindset. Women's football must no longer be viewed as a charity project or a mere social cause. It is a powerful economic and entertainment product capable of attracting massive investment, creating jobs, and projecting Nigeria's soft power globally. We must therefore reposition the NWFL as a commercially viable brand with strong governance, data-driven marketing, and strategic partnerships. Our objective is to build a product that appeals to sponsors across industries such as telecommunications, banking, energy, and consumer goods, and to grow the league revenue base significantly within the next few years. Equally important is the development of a strong youth structure that feeds the league and our national teams. Every NWFL club should establish and maintain properly funded U15 and U17 feeder teams to ensure continuity and talent progression. This will create a sustainable pipeline for our national teams and reduce the gap between grassroots and elite competitions. The NFF, through its technical department, will support the NWFL in implementing standardized coaching and scouting programs that utilize technology.
For her dexterity and her doggedness in helping women football. Well, may I, on behalf of His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Joseph Umara, GSSRS, Grand Service Star of Rivers State, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, welcome all of you to Port Harcourt, Rivers State. We are happy to have you here. We are so delighted that you are here. And I think this is the first time Rivers State is hosting this kind of event. Well, I want to assure you that we are going to host many more of such events in Port Harcourt. Madam Jube, Madam Aisha, will do your Super 8. Super 6. It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that Rivers State is fastly becoming the hub of sports in Nigeria. As I speak, It's unprecedented. Rivers State is hosting the final playoffs of the MBBF Premier League Basketball. And I want to say that this is the third time we are hosting, back to back to back to back. And to put the icing on the cake, we're also going to host the Final Four of the MBBF Premier Basketball League. And so, for those of us here, if you have the time, the games are already on. You can stroll into the basketball stadium. We have one of the best, if not the best in the country. In fact, when people were watching, they were calling, even from BAL, that's the Basketball African League, FIBA, they were calling and asking if this was Lagos. And I now said, this is one place in Nigeria called Port Harcourt. So you may find yourself there, and I'll be on hand to receive you. But before then, you can also find your way to the Adokia Mesimaka Stadium, where Rivers United will be playing Ikorodu City Football Club. So it gives us a great honor and pleasure to have all of you here, because football is all about amity and friendship. And I want to say that with what our girls are doing in football, honestly speaking, they are really giving us a better place in the community of football nations in the world, especially the Super Falcons. So what you guys have to do is to build on it. Forget what happens to the under 17 girls. It's only developmental. It's only developmental. When I was in the NFF, Aisha is a winner. We won the under 17 World Cup male back to back. And everything we did in NFF, and Aisha talking to me when I became commissioner for sports. This is my fourth time, you know. He said, look, Barrister, you have to replicate everything you did at NFF in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State. And this is exactly what we've done in Rivers State. So as soon as I came in, Rivers United won the Premier League. Like somebody said, that Rivers United is carrying Nigeria on its back, and now their back is paining them. The weight is too much. For crying out loud, this is the third time we are bailing Nigeria out of a very bad situation, where our coefficients wouldn't have been enough to sustain our first loss in the CAF club competition. And of course, if we didn't do it this time, honestly speaking, I wonder what football would have been in Nigeria. We would have gotten ourselves caught by two clubs. That means one club will be representing Aisha's Nigerian Football Federation. That's the FA Cup, playing in the Confederations Cup, and another representing the Benga Lebanese NPFL. And look at it, what is there to compete for when you have only two sports? It would have been real suicidal. Our football would have plummeted in such a way that it would have been very difficult to recover. In other climes, I'll say it, I shall take this home. In other climes, what they do, they protect, they defend their points coefficient. You have to play the politics of football in Africa. In North Africa, you always see those same teams coming back, because they have the points coefficient, and for them to maintain, they have to be in the continent. And once they're in the continent, they will continue to chop up points. And when they chop up points, it will be quite unassailable for anybody to get. But in Nigeria, if not Rivers United, which other club? Remo has no points, considering it. Kwara has no points. Eyimba is way back and not playing in this edition. In fact, there's nothing, there's no way. It's a mirage. So we need to help these clubs. Look at those that are coming up with a bit of points. Find a way, let them come and help this Rivers United whose back is aching now. Their back is aching. Because, in fact, let me tell you the truth. That was the greatest test I had to ensure that we qualified to the group stage. Not even when we won the Nations Cup in 2013, with me at the helm of affairs. This was quite, because everybody was looking up to Rivers United. Everybody. Should anything have happened that day, honestly speaking, that would have been the end. Even when the people came back after 2 goals, some people almost fainted. Even the president was at the state box. I did not know when I found myself in the technical bench. He called me on the phone. He called me. You know, there's a name he calls, please, this number 2, this fullback, he's tired, let them change him. That is how passionate he was that day. That's the truth. But not everybody will know. He was quite passionate. He came to support Rivers United. He came. And even though when we have things like this, I hardly have time for anybody, because that time it was business. And if you saw me that time, I was like a crazy person. So even when he was tapping me, I couldn't even reconnect, because I was totally engrossed in how we can get out of this problem. If we had not won that game and qualified, tell me the truth, how would anybody have felt? They would have said Rivers United failed them. But they forgot that a team came to Nigeria and beat us 5-1. They would also have forgotten that a team came to Nigeria and defeated us 1-0. So we need all the support. The clubs need all the support. See what has happened to our girls playing in the women club championship. Once a club qualifies, fortify that team. Bayelsa has just come back, is it not so? If they were fortified very, very well, it doesn't matter, it could be loan or whatever. We can hold our own. Nigeria remains the best in women football in Africa. So we will have fortified that team very, very well, irrespective of where you're coming from. We have to play this game. We have to play this game. We really have to play this game. They are going to AFCON. How many Nigerian referees are there? None? No, we have one. No, we have. We don't have. So what's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Aisha, let me welcome you to Port Harcourt River State. You're my guest. We'll be together. I don't want you to leave. You whisper that you want to leave. You're not going to leave. You're going to be with us. You're my sister. You understand me? Dupe is here to take care of you. I'm here to take care of you. We will play basis to you. You're a good woman. You're a good woman.